What's going on? Enemies, cards, timeline, and... Yep, that's Gloomhaven. Game with true masochist difficulty level. You've conquered XCOM on Iron Man, you've beaten Baldur's Gate 3 on Honor Mode, and you think you know what hard really means.
That's what she said!
Trust me, you don't. I just grabbed a promising game on Epic Games 3 week, didn't think much about it, it just looked cool, a tactical RPG with cards, that must be fun, so I will give it a try. Installed the game, ran it, and then out of nowhere I have spent 70 hours in the game getting my ass beaten by math, mechanics and RNG while trying to beat the game.
You like that? You like that?
Today I want to show you why Gloomhaven is the hardest tactical game I have ever played, and why despite all of the stress and the pain I can't stop playing it.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Why is it so hard? First of all, it's fundamentally different from every other game you have played.
Why is it different?
Gloomhaven actually originated from a board game. Most of the mechanics has been directly taken from the board game without any interference. That's why it does not feel familiar to typical video game. Think of XCOM as the benchmark. You want to move, you click a tile. You want to attack, you click the alien. It doesn't get any easier than that. Simple. One action point on the move and one action point on the attack each turn. In Gloomhaven you have infinite possibilities in choosing your move and attack. You have a hand of cards, number of cards may vary on the mercenary in play, they can go from 8 to even 12. Every turn you have to pick 2 cards. You use the top action of one and the bottom action of the other. Most of the times top will be the attack and bottom move. That sounds simple on paper.
Are you sure about that?
Practice, you have 12 cards in hand, total of 24 abilities from which you choose each round. You need to think ahead of the game. If you use all of your mobility early, later your character just becomes a standing potato. The only certain thing is that you can exchange top part of the card for 2 attack or bottom for 2 move. Even if you screw up your picks, you have a fallback action. But learning all abilities of each character and their impact on each other takes hours. The real difficulty spike is the finite amount of cards.
2 hours later.
You are constantly racing against the clock. In most games, if you're getting beaten up, you simply defend in the choke point, let your team heal up, and you take it slow. If you try to go slow in Gloomhaven, it's certain that you're gonna die. You're always racing against exhaustion. Every turn uses cards. When you run out of cards, you have to rest. Every time you rest, you have to burn a card, which basically means it is deleted for the rest of that mission. Your deck is shrinking every single turn. If you burn through your cards, your character just screams as loud as possible and disappears into the void. A pretty horrific fate if you ask me. In the early missions, it feels fine as they are short. Later you realize that every single scenario ends with you entering the last room with just 4 or 5 cards. In that case, burning your remaining cards takes only 4 turns. 4 turns to clean up the hardest room. That's a factor to consider in the early game. Which cards you wanna leave till the last room. The factor that you must be as fast as possible does not help. It builds a pressure on you, constantly trying to save as much cards as possible for the last room. You are probably wondering what is the number in the center of the card. That's the initiative. The smaller the number, the faster you will move. The trick here is that you have 2 cards and you can choose which card's initiative you will follow. You can mix very slow cards with the quick ones in order to act fast. That's not always the best approach, as sometimes it is better to let your enemy move first and act at the end of the turn. But there is a problem. Enemies aren't predictable. They have decks with like 8 different cards, with unique initiative. You know what they will do only after you lock in your cards. Maybe they stand still, maybe they shield themselves, maybe an overpowered move.
You know, maybe.
For example, the ooze, basically a slime. Its power move? To replicate yourself. You go into a room with 4 slimes sitting at the end. A little bad luck and they rolled to replicate themselves 2 turns in a row.
A few moments later.
Before you get to them, there are 16 uses waiting to end your mission. Good luck beating that. You have to build a plan that can survive everything RNG might throw at you. Always be prepared to handle the worst case scenario, because the worst case scenario will happen.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen, huh?
Quick question, do you actually like feeling the pain? The struggle of going through the same battle over and over again? If you are a true masochist like me, please hit that like button. I need to know I'm not the only one. Speaking of suffering, let's talk about the Modifier deck. Each attack you roll to get a modifier, ranging from ×0 to multiply 2 times. The ×0 card is always in your deck, lurking, waiting for the exact moment to take a calculated kill from you. The turn will never be predictable due to those modifiers. You will always draw something that messes up your plan. It's just another layer to take into account before your turn. The fact that you can't save adds pressure. You can play perfectly for 55 minutes, then feel too confident and make some bold plans, just to draw 2 bad modifiers.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer.
And have to replay the entire hour. Gloomhaven is punishing in a way most modern games aren't.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, I didn't mention that earlier. There is no save scanning. You're playing an Iron Man by default. You can only restart the current turn. That's really useful if you misclick. But you can't go back any further. Only once you lose a scenario, you can replay it.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
At some point you might think, I'll just grind levels, then it will get easier. The game straight laughs at your face after your first level up. Text pops up informing you about scaling difficulty. To quote it, "You didn't expect things to get easier, did you?" It never gets easier. The more people on a mission, the harder it gets. Gloomhaven actively scales each mission to your party size and character level, making sure it is not easy for you.
That's quite big. Impressive.
And the sad part? In the campaign you don't even keep your heroes, they have life goals. You finally accomplish level 9 Spellweaver life goal to unlock another character, Spellweaver just retires. They leave. You're stuck starting over with a new level 1 Spellweaver. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that, but in the game there are 2 modes. Campaign, the true board game experience of beating your ass. I went for the campaign first time I entered the game and I couldn't beat the tutorial for 3 hours.
Pathetic.
But there is Guildmaster, from which I would suggest to start, if you are new. It basically has a real tutorial with a prologue. Let's get back to the main point. Economy, it is yet another story. In campaign, gold isn't shared. If your tank grabs all the coins, your backline is broke. Even picking up the gold can be easy, right? It is not enough to walk over a gold pile, you need to end your turn on it. Once you go to the shop, it turns out it has limited stock. You want the Boots of Striding? There are only 2 pairs in the whole city. It would ideally fit 3 of your characters? Too bad. But wait, you can just reassign an item to a different character before a mission, right? Nope. They have more greed in themselves than Ubisoft. Just to swap items, you need to pay. Also, all items are not available straight away. In campaign you need to raise Gloomhaven prosperity, and in the Guildmaster you clear the trade routes. A small, very enjoyable mechanic.
Boring, boring, boring.
So what's next?
There is one more layer you might have noticed throughout the video. Elements. Specific abilities can activate elements which boost certain cards and their outcome. If you learned something about the Gloomhaven from the video, you know there must be a catch.
It's a trap!
Enemies can be powered up or weakened with the specific elements. Let's say you created Earth to power up your next move. You shouldn't created it against an Earth elemental, right? They consume it and hit you even harder. That is another mechanic you need to think of before your brain melts. We are slowly getting to the end, but I have a fun fact for you.
Prepare to have your mind blown.
Remember, as I mentioned, the tutorial which I couldn't beat for a few hours?
Yeah, I remember that marmalade.
So actually developers noticed that the game is hard. I know that's hard to believe. But they noticed and they released a DLC. And this DLC, the fun part, is that it is a tutorial for the game. It's called Jaws of the Lion. When I learned about it, it just made me laugh so hard. I mean, developers basically saying, are you struggling? Here, we made you a DLC, which is basically a tutorial, so you can finally learn how to play.
Emotional, damn it!
That's the end of the fun fact break, but remember, whatever you do, do not search for Gloomhaven gifts. Trust me, you don't want to be there. So, Gloomhaven is the hardest tactical RPG I have ever played, because it's punishing to the player. It does not guide your hand at any point. And all of the mechanics, they are easy on paper, right? But when you get into the game, when they start to overlap one another, it just makes everything so complicated, make you calculate every possibility and every outcome. It's frustrating, it's unfair, but once you win a scenario, when you finally win, it hits that feeling that I didn't feel with any other game the last few years. If you like the pain, try out Gloomhaven to finally hit the same feeling as me. If you like strategy games, check out this video. Thanks for watching. So why is it so hard? First of all, it's... You can only